Alright guys, as much as we had our first 3 episodes being the main plot storyline here, this episode of course needed to be our first filler episode, and I absolutely loved it a lot. Even though some would say otherwise and that season 1's filler episode like Infested wasn't good, I would disagree since I absolutely love filler episodes. Though Devil's Deal is in the middle because Child Hera wasn't my interest at the time when seeing that episode. But I'm obviously going off track here, and this episode is definitely one that will also live rent-free in my mind with episode 2 of Tech. With that said, let's get into this developmental filler episode for my favorite clone Tech. Back at Ord Mantell, Omega and Wrecker are playing Hollow Chess, and of course she wins with her intelligence, and now Wrecker owes her 2 cartons of Mantell mix. Please don't put it in Sid's tab, honestly, but Wrecker wanted to try again, but Sid comes in to disrupt the game and tells them, along with Tech being in the back, that they got another mission. But it's obviously apparent that Hunter and Echo aren't there simply because the two are on a separate mission of transporting 50 cases of Nerf nuggets. Though Tech doesn't think that it's called a mission, of course. Sid said there's no time and takes the 3 of them to Safatoma to witness what I assumed was pod racing.
Now this is pod racing.
But Sid corrects it to be riot racing, and there is clearly a difference between the two. Apparently, Sid has a racer in this riot racing named Teo, and we get to see that he is a droid that really has got some sass that I can't even handle. Neither Tech 2 in the matter. The group examines Teo's speeder until we get a full name of Sid to be Sidderin Scaleback from a not-so-pleasant person from the past, Milegi. He is confronted with seeing the group and decides to make a wager with Sid who's the better racer, and she takes the deal easily. Okay, this is just giving me Mario Kart vibes with this riot racing, and it all goes smooth, more or less with blaster fire, of course. But then we get into a crunch with Teo getting into a steel claw with Jet and taking heavy damage out of the tunnel, making Jet win the race. Milegi comes for his earnings, but Sid tries to hold back and calls for the group to help back her up. Yet Omega stops the issue to make a deal. If the group loses, they pay double, but if they win, they will take Sid. God, this child is just the one that takes the shots, indeed, since even with Tech and Wrecker's intervention with her doesn't help the case out. Milegi takes Omega's deal, yet he takes Sid as collateral in the meantime, as the group then restores the speeder and Teo back up. The fact that Teo is just saying how Tech is fixing him up wrong, the stare down between the two was just hilarious. Though Wrecker makes a suggestion of taking out Milegi, Tech points out that if they do that, he has backup that will track down the group with no hesitation. And Tech also points out about Sid's hasty missions and getting into a serious dilemma is becoming a pattern that does say something about Sid's past. It becomes even more apparent when Milegi and Sid are chatting with each other saying that she's changed, and Milegi points out that the batch will soon find out who Sid really was. The group is now preparing for the race, and just a conversation between Teo and Tech is just a funny interaction that doesn't go well in the end, mainly for Teo. Look for yourself.
Want to win out there? Offense is the best. We have a wipeout down in
Personally, I was slightly happy that he got hit, but it isn't a good outcome because there is no racer and the deal almost becomes forfeit. But then we get a relief that Tech decides he will become the racer, and the face Wrecker makes when he finds out that Tech was being serious about his decision was priceless. And the scene where all the racers' famous names are being called until Tech's name being called with no attention, I would honestly be the one cheering for him if I was there personally. And with the Mario Kart theme song, we start off the race, but in all honesty, the actual music during the race is by far my favorite of the season. Though Tech is still in last, he figures out that he needs more speed and goes to the pit to remove all of his weapons to get the boost he needs. He then decides to take the left tunnel that is a death trap since most of the tracks there are removed, yet it is the shortest tunnel to gain up his position. Though he isn't alone going down this tunnel, it's obvious that the racer behind him falls off. Making it out of the tunnel was the only one way of getting ahead, but then we get back into the steel claw moment. Yet with him examining the racer's pattern beforehand gives Tech the perfect moment to get out of the way and win the race. Okay, this is where I say development with Tech, because when Omega and Wrecker go off to congratulate him, he doesn't register the surprised reaction as a way of getting appraised for his winning. And when the whole crowd cheers his name out, he somewhat realizes that he's getting the attention that he deserves since season 1. I just love how much he's still learning how to process being appraised for what he does seems simple to him. And now that it was Wrecker and Omega, I really wish Hunter and Echo were there to see it themselves. The group then heads over to get Sid back, and Jet almost makes a terrible mistake with his blaster until Malegi stops him and gives one more reminder for the group to watch your backs. Even though the group is mindful about the lost words, they all leave with a grin on their faces knowing that this is a story to tell when they reunite with Hunter and Echo. It was fascinating to know that we do get to know a little bit more of Sid's background, since all we knew from season 1 that she was trusted with the Jedi. But knowing her being a past hustler, who knows what is to be expected for Sid now and what she will face if the batch finds out about Sid's past. But this filler episode was just filled with fun, and seeing Tech develop slowly is just a 10 out of 10 for me as an episode. If you guys got anything, thoughts like theories or something like that, put them down in the comment section, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye!